So recommendations really are more like testimonials, more like those even beyond endorsements. And recommendations are where people are really free writing, giving a little bit, maybe a paragraph, maybe a couple sentences, maybe a paragraph, talking about you and why they recommend you for a position or to do certain types of work. Now, with recommendations can take time kind of finding them, getting people to give them to you. It can take a little time, and you can always add that later, right? This is, the first parts that we talked about earlier in the course or earlier in this section about LinkedIn, those you want to do right away, immediately. Get your photo right in your head, the summary and the head thing at the top, all that stuff. You want to get that all right, and then you can fill in these recommendations later, so don't let it delay you. And you can remove or hide individual recommendations later when you want to. Maybe it's not something as glowing, or maybe it's something that's a little off track. You can always hide individual recommendations as well. And it's really like a product testimonial, even more so like a product testimonial. And they're talking about you and they would recommend you. And they ask people directly, people that you know well, people you've worked with, people you work well with. They really can kind of talk about who you are from their point of view, And you want to coach them around that. You don't want to put words in their mouth. You don't want to necessarily write the recommendation for them and say, cut and paste and put this up. People have done that, but you really are trying to at least coach them through, how to write a good recommendation, that it should be specific, that it should focus on your work, not just your personal life, or not your personal life. And they do get one edit too. So they can write a recommendation, they post it, you look at it, and then you could go back to them and they could edit it as well. Again, LinkedIn always changing. Maybe they'll change it so you get multiple edits. So by this time, maybe those multiple edits, but maybe they might limit to one edit. So, and we're coaching them, once again, you're telling them, this is for my LinkedIn profile, this is my business self, and talk to them like, remember when we worked on that project together? Remember how we got that done ahead of time? Remember the role I led, and that was my project, and I led the team, and you were part of the team. Coach them a little bit, give them reminders, and then they'll bring that up, and then they'll write their own personal testimonial, or really how LinkedIn calls it, recommendation for you. And again, write a recommendation for them. Certainly help each other out. You write a recommendation, and I'll write a recommendation as well too. So that's a key thing too, and that's really kind of building your whole profile. And this is kind of those finishing touches. And just like with endorsements, and along with recommendations, real important thing is don't let it slow you up, right? Don't say, I'm not even going to start my job search until I get 4 recommendations. Get out there and get started. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the next lesson.